It has been a minute since Morris Chestnut was here on the Rich Eisen Show, but he has returned. And
thank you for having me.
As everyone can now hear on the Rich Eisen Show radio network that's joined our Roku channel live stream. Watson can be seen right here on the Roku portal on Paramount Plus. Good to see you again here. And so when this first hit your desk, your office, your hands with a script, your first thought was what?
My first thought was I can't wait to be a part of it. So they reached out to me. I read the script. I met with the showrunner, Craig Sweeney, who's incredible. He told me his vision for the whole season and for the whole series. And just tying in the Sherlock aspect of it along with medicine that's fully vetted by doctors. All the cases are real. I had to be a part of it.
But this is after Moriarty actually gets Holmes.
Exactly. So the show opens up after Sherlock Holmes is killed by Moriarty at Reichenbach Falls, and so Moriarty is now a thorn in my side throughout this whole season.
Awesome.
So we have to figure out he's trying to. He's trying to meddle in a lot of places.
And it's too bad CBS doesn't promote this at all. Like, seriously.
We got to talk to him about that. Yeah, we got to talk to him about that.
Billboards everywhere in this town. And then I was just, joking on the TV-only part of this conversation.
They've been an incredible partners, and I'm glad to be at home there.
Yeah, it's like every single time somebody's pausing to shoot a free throw in March Madness, I see, hey,
Watson?
Yeah.
Okay, you don't see it during the game? I need to talk to somebody.
I do see, I see it during the game.
Okay,
They're
good.
At the line. They have
like
10 seconds to sneak in a promo.
Okay, all right, perfect.
And then I see your face basically as some kid is getting ready to probably miss his free throw. Certainly if it was my Wolverines last night. But it's pretty cool to see that. So let me just jump in here. So you're aren't you from California?
Yeah,
right? You're
born
from
and raised.
Okay, so then why are you an Eagles fan?
I'm an Eagles fan because for a long time California didn't have a team, but even beyond that, I just loved Wilbur Montgomery back in the day, and they used to wear cutoff mesh jerseys, and I loved the team. So I've been following the Eagles ever since.
Now that's a name that I love to hear.
Oh, Wilbur Montgomery, right?
Yeah, that's a great name.
Yeah, oh yeah. I go way back.
You sure do.
You sure do. It's not a bandwagon thing. It's not just this year after of course they won the Super Bowl, but I go way back.
They didn't just win the Super Bowl. They dominated.
They dominated the Super Bowl. They did. And I'm so bothered by everyone saying that Jalen Hurts isn't elite because he is elite.
I'm not one of them, so you're aware.
Right? No, yeah, I've seen your tape.
I just love everything about him. I
love his journey.
His journey is second to none, Morris.
Right. I agree.
His journey is second to none. That he gets basically introduced to the football fans of the United States of America as a kid who couldn't do it, had to get benched by Nick Saban, who obviously would know what to do because he's Nick Saban.
Right, of course.
And then he winds up getting the gig back for a brief bit the next year from Tua, winning the game because he stuck around and was professional enough to do it, and then goes to Oklahoma, winds up being a runner-up to Joe Burrow in the Heisman race, gets drafted to Philadelphia as the second-round choice while Carson Wentz just got paid, and they're all wondering, why is he here?
Right.
And even then, he doesn't get down. He gets the gig, then gets benched again in some national television last game of the season when the Eagles were out of it in a weird Peterson's last game. Everyone's wondering, what's going on behind the scenes, blaming him for something. And now he's a Super Bowl champ, and the guy he's throwing to, just to finish everything up, the guy he's throwing to right now, one of them, is the guy who caught the pass from Tua in the national championship game night that he got benched.
Yes.
And he's winning the Super Bowl now.
So after all of that, why do people say he's not elite?
Great question.
Because to me, so here's the argument.
I mean, you guys can chime in here if you want to chime in here. Go ahead. TJ, well, TJ's a Cowboy fan, so he's.
Why is he elite, TJ?
He plays for the Eagles.
What does that mean? He plays for the Eagles.
Because I'm a Cowboys fan.
Right. So, but he is elite, though, right?
Morris, you'll never get me to.
Okay.
You don't know what I've been through this year, Morris. Though I've been through it with Eagles fans.
I was riding the Eagles since midway through the year. So.
Right, but see what I'm saying? I asked him if he was elite. He said he's been riding the Eagles. See, that's the thing.
Yes.
People think it's just because the team, but it's not. When you really look at it, just put it this way. Would you guys say Andy Reid's a pretty good coach, right?
I can check that box.
Yeah, you check that box.
Yes,
Would
sir.
you say possibly Hall of Fame coach?
Not possibly. You can
Yes.
remove possibly.
Possibly best coach ever. Possibly, you know. Okay.
I mean,
if you want to
the
make an
metrics,
argument,
he's in this conversation.
He's in the conversation.
Yeah.
Defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Pretty good defensive coordinator, right?
I would say that he is a guy that will get some Hall of Fame consideration.
Hall of Fame consideration.
That is correct. Yes,
so
sir.
you mean to tell me that we have a Hall of Fame coach and a Hall of Fame defensive coordinator
Yes.
that literally spent a month trying to stop Jalen Hurts and still couldn't do it?
I get what
They
you're
were trying
saying.
to stop the Eagles.
No, they're trying to stop. No, because they stopped Saquon Barkley in the Super Bowl. In the first Super Bowl, they stopped our running back there too. So they tried to stop Jalen Hurts. We did not have a running game in those Super Bowls.
Hurts is 100% the rightful MVP of the game.
The first one and the second one, right?
Well, no, you're not
first one
wrong.
and the second one.
You're not wrong, but that's your
Argument can be
point.
made.
That's your point that I'm happy to back up here, is that in the two biggest games of his life, with the largest audiences of his life watching him, he had the two best games of his life.
He showed out.
Well, but see, here's the thing. See, I feel like he does what it takes to win. He's an ultimate leader.
That's
is
correct.
what he is.
That's right.
He could have had those games. He could be a quarterback that's saying after every game, hey, I want to throw the ball more. Stop giving it to Saquon. They had 2 weeks before the first Super Bowl, couldn't stop him.
Yes.
2 weeks before the second Super Bowl, still couldn't stop him. Now, these are Hall of Fame coaches. If Jalen Hurts was in an offense where he was throwing the ball all over the
Yes.
field, he would still be just as successful.
I'm 100% in your camp here. So which quarterback would you place him above? Like, give me your
you
top
tell
five.
me. You tell
Well,
me.
I mean,
I would say Patrick Mahomes is
in
definitely
there.
above him.
And
Is definitely above.
I think. Well, I mean,
You think who?
Well, you just said he's outplayed him twice in 2 Super Bowls.
He has.
So why isn't he ahead of him?
Well, I mean, how many Super Bowls does Patrick Mahomes have?
But how many did he play great in?
Well, I agree, but no one's talking about the team. I do think that what Patrick Mahomes has
I'm
done.
trying to give you the chance to say he's better than Mahomes.
Well, I'm not going to say he's better than Mahomes. I say he's in the same class.
all right.
But so you're asking me who would I place ahead of him? You tell me who would you place ahead of him? And I can make an argument against it.
no, I understand exactly what you're saying. But you know, because they don't have the Super Bowl appearances or a ring, so you have to include him in the conversation with Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. I mean, in terms of talent and in terms of, how about this? I think for a lot of people, he's got to do it again.
Okay,
and it may
so-
not be fair, but I think for a lot of people, if he does it again, and then even then, it'll be like, well, he's on a super team.
It's gonna be something,
but there's always something.
But see,
I mean,
the interesting thing, though, to me, is that you mentioned Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson.
Yes.
Now,
MVPs of the league.
MVPs of the league.
Yes, sir.
Duly granted. Duly noted. However, those are two teams that Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo could stop. Those are two players that they did stop.
So we're like some.
It's there.
No, you're making your case. There's no doubt.
They stopped Allen twice. They stopped Lamar Jackson last year in his MVP. Both quarterbacks in their MVP seasons could not beat the Kansas City Chiefs.
Jalen Hurts is excellent. He is an
He's
elite
elite.
quarterback. That front seven also helps, and those kids that they drafted on the back end, including Cooper DeJean, who had it's a team effort.
But the front
It's a team effort.
seven weren't there in the first Super Bowl.
I hear you. You're a big Jalen Hurts fan.
No, I'm
get
a fan of what I see. I mean, it's a travesty that people don't give him the credit because, like you say, there's always going to be something. You said, the front seven. Well, they didn't have the front seven in the first Super Bowl.
Well, the front seven's pretty amazing, though. You know what I mean?
So Kansas City's never had a great front seven?
No, they do. They have. And Mahomes obviously is viewed as the magic man.
Well, he didn't play well in either of the two Super Bowls.
That's his point right over there.
Yeah, it was a great point. That's what I'm saying. So why isn't Jalen Hurts? Why would you say Josh Allen and Lamar? Like, I loved watching Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, but why would you say they're elite and Jalen isn't?
I'm not saying he's not. See what I'm saying?
So
I'm
I
with
said,
you.
who would you place over them? You brought up Josh Allen and Lamar.
Because what they have done through weeks 1 through 18 of their careers repeatedly is something I have yet to see from Jalen Hurts.
Because have they won more games than Jalen?
They have.
Really?
I believe so. Yeah.
They won.
Jalen Hurts has won a ton of games, but I mean, obviously he hasn't been in the league as long as they have.
So, but I'm saying, okay, so
the longevity of it.
The longevity of what they're doing.
Right.
So now you're saying Jalen needs the
Allen
longevity.
came in 2018. Right. That's what I'm saying. One more time. Let's see it again.
But they haven't done it once. So why do they need one more time?
I hear
Why
you.
do they? I mean, listen. So listen. I think people.
Are you like this with everybody in your life?
Well, I'm just, I just have to make a case for Jalen Hurts because to me, I can't understand why people don't say that he's elite.
I agree with you, but I say he is elite.
But
I'm not saying
you have
he's
an
the
asterisk.
best quarterback in the National Football League.
I'm not saying that either,
yet.
but I'm not saying Josh Allen's the best quarterback. I'm not saying Lamar Jackson's the best quarterback. What the discussion has been about being elite.
Yes.
And they have these classifications. They have the order. They'll say these 3 quarterbacks are elite, and then he's in like the next 1 or 2 tiers down, which I think is wrong.
Dare I ask you what your LeBron take is?
Oh, you want to hear that right now?
Sure. Look out,
here we go.
There are not some LeBron lovers in this room.
You have some LeBron haters?
I'm not a LeBron
hater.
No.
Just not love. Okay.
He's not the GOAT.
He's not the GOAT?
No.
So here's the take.
Don't forget you were in a movie named Like Mike.
I was in a movie like Mike.
You give this opinion.
Well, I think
and it wasn't just the shoes for Mike. It was for Lil Bow Wow.
Right.
Because I know the script, Morris.
You do.
So
Let me say this.
Okay.
So here we go. So when we talk about the GOAT in basketball, now I'm a Michael Jordan fan. Just the impact of the game.
Yes.
All right. But when it comes to LeBron James,
yes,
and this may be the first time you've heard this, but in the next few years, people will say this. LeBron James is, in my opinion.
Yes, sir.
You ready?
I'm ready for you, Morris.
The greatest athlete in American history.
Oh, my God.
Bo Jackson's going to argue with that.
The greatest athlete. And let me tell you why.
Okay. And Deion.
The level of sustained greatness.
No question.
In a sport where you have to play offense and defense to sustain that greatness for the longest period of time. Who else has done it?
Now, in terms of
who else has done it?
Nobody.
I understand what you're saying.
Okay. So who would be a greater athlete?
As somebody who did sports centers after LeBron's high school games. With Stuart Scott.
Okay.
So I have seen it from, forever, and the fact that he is doing it now at the rate that he is doing it, at the excellence level that he is doing it, is and how he has crushed every record book. There's no one else.
So
totally
who would
agree.
you say is the greatest athlete in U.S. history?
Greatest athlete? I mean, you have to include like what? Jesse Owens, Jackie Robinson. I mean, like you really got to if you're really going
Secretariat.
there.
Well, okay. That's kind of my point. So I do think that those gentlemen are great athletes. They paved the way in historical things.
Sure.
However, I mean they do what they do every 4 years.
So let me ask you this
every
question.
4 years.
Sure. Who's the greatest champion?
That's a different subject.
No,
that's different. That's different.
Okay.
So LeBron is the greatest athlete in U.S. history.
And I'm talking about
great champions.
Let's just keep it a basketball. Let's just keep it to the LeBron.
Michael Jordan.
Okay.
Michael Jordan, hands down.
Well, I mean, Bill Russell, technically.
Well, sure.
I mean, if you want to get technical.
No, I don't want to get technical. I want to drill down to the LeBron Jordan thing.
Well, here's the thing. It's like, but see, that's why you can't have a conversation. Like, I can't have a conversation with my son about who's the best because he was not there. He didn't witness live and in person. He's 27.
27.
Yeah.
So, there is YouTube. I mean,
but it's still not the same as being in the moment.
Yeah.
And that's the same reason why I can't watch Bill Russell's games and say, okay, what he did is great. Because it wasn't in the moment. Didn't have the impact that it had live and in person in the moment.
When Jordan, I'll be honest, straight up, when Jordan came out on the floor in the old Chicago Stadium, and it was the height of the Bulls, or not even the height of the Bulls, that entire time with the Bulls from when he started winning championships till when he left the Bulls.
Mm-hmm.
There was a sense of invincibility and fear and a sense of dread that I've never felt with LeBron for a split second.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
And this was in the era, there were no jersey swaps.
Right.
They actually called traveling. I know I sound like a get off my lawn type guy right
there was
now.
hand checking.
Come on now.
You go down the lane and they would knock you out.
And Jordan was like blocking 7-footers and going in their faces and shooting free throws with his eyes closed.
Right.
And come on now. That's the difference in my estimation. And I these conversations are fraught because I don't want to come across as me being disrespectful of LeBron's achievements. But there's still one guy who would rip your heart out and show it to you pumping and refuse to put it back in your chest.
Right.
And that was him.
Right.
Michael Jordan.
But I think one probably, if that was just an argument, I think one could argue just because LeBron didn't have that level of aggression, that level of fight in him to that nature doesn't make him not great. So people can see those two things differently. For me, it was the impact that Jordan not only had on the game of basketball, but just the things Jordan was doing things that we had never seen before.
End of story.
Completely transformed.
And this photograph right here, I'm a diehard New York Knicks fan. It's just like, I mean, he stood in Ewing's way from college to every other second of his career.
He stood in a lot of people's way. He stood in Barkley's way. He stood in everybody's way.
Pretty much.
But LeBron is the greatest athlete in U.S. history. Hey, listen, I'm open to see who else is next.
On the next episode of Watson.
Watson will prove it through science and medicine.
I always find that argument funny because almost 5,000 men have played in the NBA. And we're talking about what I'm saying is it's pretty amazing that of all those players, we can't decide on these two, but we know these two are head and shoulders, not even head and shoulders, but they're at the top of the list.
Yeah, and from heaven, Kobe's waving his arm saying, hold on a second.
Yeah. Well, so listen, Kareem is waving his hand, but I think it comes down to LeBron.
Dave Winfield deserves to be in the conversation.
Of what?
Greatest athlete ever. #1 draft pick in 3 sports and is a baseball Hall of Famer.
That's not a bad one.
Baseball. So baseball is a sport where you play, and then you go sit down and watch. So you sit half of a baseball game. You're watching.
Baseball?
You're sitting down and watching. Half of a baseball game. You're sitting down and watching.
Have you watched LeBron the last decade? He's doing a lot of watching on defense.
Have I watched LeBron? Have I watched LeBron in the last decade? Yes. Have you seen his stats?
No,
you cannot hide on the basketball court.
Oh, he's doing a lot of hiding.
LeBron James is?
On defense? Are we watching the same games, Morris?
I'm not sure. Who's your team?
Celtics.
Oh, of course. Here we go. So we got a Dallas Cowboy fan and a Celtics fan over here. Of course.
Yeah. The difference being I can put my bias aside and say Jalen Hurts checks every box that you want, right? Yeah, and I mean, Rich, like you always say, off the field, on the field,
in the locker room,
Jalen Hurts, you want to take him home, you want him to marry your sister. He does.
He just got married. Be careful.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
But he just got married.
He won't give LeBron props, though. Is what I'm saying.
But hold on. But can we say? I mean, even if you don't want to give him props, can we say LeBron checks every box?
Of course.
That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. But there's one box that he does not check.
Which is what?
Which is when he walks on the court, does every fan that's rooting against him and every single player that's playing against him have some level of fear?
I don't. So we're
getting into style points. I mean,
when style points that lead to wins and losses, though, sir.
Well, I mean,
Jordan
he has wins.
People's grills.
He has wins.
Minds. No, there's no doubt.
LeBron has wins. They don't win that Golden State if he tracks down. I think it was Iguodala and slap his and pin a shot.
They don't win against Golden State if Draymond doesn't kick someone in the nuts and gets suspended.
That's true too.
Well, I mean,
that did change the series, but listen, you can't. Again, the conversation winds up denigrating LeBron, which is not the point. I'm just saying, of course, he checks every box. He
checks every box as the greatest athlete ever.
He's on the Mount Rushmore. Greatest, okay.
In U.S., I mean, I don't know who else is. I mean, Dave Winfield. Listen, I like Dave Winfield. I think he's great, but greatest athlete ever? I mean, you're playing basketball.
He's trying to. You're getting the full Rich Eisen Show experience.
Is that what it is? Okay,
that's what you're getting right now, which is part and parcel. Where Chris normally, for most, you should respect this as well. You're getting his respect. Normally, he will hold his tongue. Because he doesn't want to argue with the guests.
No, please.
Okay?
I'm open for it.
With the guests
I'm open for it.
He thinks the guests are positively wrong. I'm trying to. I know his body language after all this time. He's doing his, but that look right there. He's not even looking at us. That's the look.
What am I wrong about? I just want to hear before I go.
No. We are up against it.
I mean, Michael Phelps, Serena Williams. I mean, we could go on and on.
So every 4 years. Oh, I'm just asking. I'm just asking.
Serena plays every 4 years.
What's that?
Serena every 4 years.
He goes that with an Olympian.
You said Michael Phelps. You just said Serena Williams.
I mean, he doesn't just like take 3 years off and then pick up swimming again.
Well, I mean,
basketball players are regarded as the greatest athletes on the planet.
It's really hard.
Tiger Woods. I mean, I'm just
golfers walk.
They have people carrying their bags.
He's great in his sport.
So
but he's
it's
not the
another
greatest
sport.
athlete.
It's another sport to where let me go hit the ball and let me watch for about 5-15 minutes.
Morris's point is.
Wow, you don't like hand-eye coordination, I guess.
It's not that.
That's not athleticism.
If you
please,
please,
you got me. You got me.
Is that any sport in which the athlete, can eat during the contest does not rise to the level of what he's talking about. All right.
Thanks for Mookie, by the way. Appreciate it.
Watson on Paramount Plus, available on the Roku channel.
I didn't make that deal.
Watson airs Sundays, 9 p.m. Eastern on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus the next day. Great to see you, sir.
Great seeing you. Thank you for having me.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live, weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.